Shalom, Malcolm. First and foremost, I like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Makakwadash. I'd like to proceed this lesson with giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have the 100% truth, man, regarding, to the Holy Bible, man. I want to just go into, I want to make this too long, man, but I want to go into, our women, man, these so-called black and Latina women, man, and Hispanic and Native women, man, but, this was strictly going, towards, these Southern Kingdom women, man, which consist of these so-called, Negroes, the Haitians, the Jamaicans, and so forth, man. It's just the three. It's the so-called Negroes, the Haitians, and the Jamaicans, man, which the so-called Negroes are the tribe of Judah. The Haitians are the tribe of Levi, and the Jamaicans are the tribe of Benjamin. So, it was just on my spirit to, go into this, man, because I'm just, I'll just speak on what I'm down here in Southern California, man, and, all you see is, these women out here with the proud countenance, man. You can just see, you can just tell that they're harlots by the way that they dress, the way that they look, the way that they carry themselves. I was watching one of the elders' videos earlier, and, he was going into, there's a gym in South Carolina, 08, by the way. I forgot the other's name by the top of my dome, but I'm just keep it going. He was saying, these so-called black women are masculine, man. They act with the masculine type of attitude, like he put an example where, one of his brothers tried to speak to one of them, and, they be like looking at you crazy. They be looking at you up and down like if you, like if you crazy or some shit, man, with the disgust, because I personally, have seen that firsthand, man. That's an ugly spirit for a woman to be in, man. So-called, women, they just nigga women nowadays, is what we like to call them. Shit. But anyways, the way that they carry themselves out here is, they want to be, masculine, man. It's not just the so-called black women, this also goes to the Latina, these like so-called Mexicans, these so-called Dominicanas, these so-called Puerto Ricans, and so forth, man. Really all the tribes, but the main ones are the tribe of Judah, man. The so-called black woman. But I was just at the gym earlier today too, and you can just tell, man, they dress certain ways to get, attention, man, because you gotta remember, man, this is their kingdom, man. This is their queendom, man. They're we know, Esau's system is in favor of the woman, man. Before I get off topic though, man, just I was in the gym, and you can just see their proud looks, man, and I don't even want the time to, try to talk to any of these, women and shit. They get close to you so you can try to like talk to them and shit, but it's like, man, we're too close to even be worried about these hoes, man. The other was saying, man, if you have a woman, it's good, man, but like nowadays it's like, shit, these women ain't old school, man. These women is just, hey, they live in today's society of women. This new generation is all fucked up, man. That's all I gotta say, man. There's no more old school women anymore, man. And if you do, man, that's a beautiful thing, man. Cherish that woman. Hey, the Lord has blessed you with that, man. But of course deal with them wisely and accordingly, man. But I'm I was gonna play this, but now I don't want to get no copyright and shit. But I'll just I'll show y'all the picture, man. Look at the title, man. It says it's by Sexy Red and Sukiana, or whatever the hell. Shit, the title's called Hood Rats, man, from the block Hood Performance. And the channel says for shooters only, man. What other people promote death culture as much as our people, man. Otherwise, Esau is the one actually promoting this and putting it out. Because, that's the type of vibration he wants put out on this earth, man. That's why these people have so much influence and so much. Look how many views this motherfucker. I'm just, scroll. I seen one with like 32. See this one right here. Ski got 32 million. This one, Pound Town, is some stupid ass fucking song too. 31 million. For the women that listen to that type of music, it's man. Their vibrations gotta be fucking low, man. Boy, they are low, but it's just like, damn. But you see how much influence they got, man. But anyway, just look at the picture, man. Look at the way that they're dressed, man. They got the weaves on, But before, I keep on talking about this, I don't want to do too much rambling and shit. Just, Salakia, I'm going to the scripture, man, the book of Salakia, the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 9. It says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Hey, and what do we see here, man? They be wearing, so let me read it one more time. The whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. Man, let me, Sirach 26 and 9. So let me get this in let me see if the GNT has a better. Let me see if NLT has a better. Man, it's not showing up. Let me see. Let me see if it's let me see if this one goes into NIV. Look, a wife's promiscuity, Salakia. A wife's, this is in the CEB, man. Sirach 26 verse 9 in the CEB. A wife's promiscuity, Salakia again, is seen in the arrogance of her eyes, and her eyelids make it known, man. You can tell, by the way that they look, man, the way that they dress, You can tell when a woman has lust in her eyes, man. And that's a lot of these women, man. You might be a handsome brother, or you can even see them looking at other brothers and shit. And, the men, you can just tell, especially when you're at the bar and you see these bitches, flirting with other dudes, they don't care who else is around them. They're just targeting at that man. Or sometimes they don't even give a shit, man. Those, some women want to be, fucking so-called, gangbang and shit by the whole fucking bar, man. These women be thinking like this nowadays, man. They be having some wicked-ass thoughts. But look, fake-ass booty. Like, that's nasty, man. I don't know who in the right mind would like that, man. That looks... Thighs, that's not even proportionate, man. They got the wigs on. This is a book of Isaiah, chapter 3, right here. And I'll start at verse 16. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty. Just to clarify, it's because the daughters, the daughters is going into, the women of Israel, man. But when it says daughter of Zion, it's going into the whole nation, men and women. But more, let me start this again from the top. Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16. Moreover, the Lord Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, walking and missing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. It says, therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts, man. You know, it says the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the head. That's why a lot of these so-called black women have alopecia, man. That's why they be wearing them wigs, man. They're the ones who buy the most hair. You know, we all know this. And it says, and the Lord Yahweh will discover their secret parts, man. You know, that's why their thing, their vag be smelling like fish, man. That should be stinking up, man. And hey, that's how you know. I'm gonna just put it out there, man. If you're dealing with a woman and her things smelling, you know, it's because she's dealing with other men, you know. Or I'm just saying, you know, I might not be too sure, but you know, if not, then she should be taking better care of herself, man. But that's how you know. That's how you know. That's one indication. Let me put it like that. Is a smell down there, man. If you're the only one that's dealing with her, and you go with her, and like you at first, you know, there's nothing wrong with the smell, and then later on you start getting signs and shit, and you know, and it starts to smell fishy, man. It's because she's letting other niggas nut in her, man. Straight up. And I'm just, you know, it hurts to hear the truth, man, but you know, hey, it's better to hear the truth than be fed with lies, man. You know, but you know, pretty much I just wanted to hit on that, man. You know, especially, man, you know, in the days that we're in, it's not even, you know, why I should be dealing with these hoes, man. You know, especially, I mean, you know, but these type of girls and shit, you know, hey, because we know, hey, the time is coming, man. A lot of prophecies have been popping off, a lot of, you know, signs in the weather, you know, in the moon, you know, the chariots is being seen more and more, you know. But hey, man, I'm gonna just end it off with that, man. You know, I gotta you know, I don't want to make this too long, man. You know, with that, I wish, you know, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect of Israel, man. You know, and to you children, women, and men who may be watching this video, man. With that, I want to